The next thing that I'd like to do for my simple house is make a roof. Okay, because again, this is just a small, simple ranch-style home, which is a single-level home. There's not a second story on a ranch-style house, so I want to go ahead and put a roof on top of there. But if I go to my 3D view and zoom out, you'll see that I have, first floor, second floor, and a roof. Well, I don't need that second floor. Okay, where my second floor is, that's where I want my roof to begin. All right, so what I'm going to do is just get rid of some of my levels or get rid of some of these elevations. Now I could do that in multiple ways. I can do that right here, or I could even do it in my one of my elevation views. Okay, so let's just do it right here since I just clicked on it. All I'm going to do is I'm going to click on roof and I'm going to delete it. It's just going to vaporize. Just want to get rid of that. Now, before it allows me to do that, it wants to let me know, like, hey, do you really want to get rid of this whole level? Because there may be other things associated with it. So when we brought in our residential template, it created this roof level, but it also created a roof plan, a roof framing plan, and some elements that may have been already attached to it. All right, so it's always going to ask you if you want to get rid of it, just to make sure that's exactly what you want to do. And in this case, I'm going to hit OK because I know for sure that I want to get rid of that 18-foot elevation marker. So I'm going to hit OK, and it's gone. And it got rid of it in my elevation view, but it also got rid of it in my project browser tree. You'll notice that there's no more roofing plans here, or roofing options. But with that, I don't want this to be second floor, right? This second floor is now my roof. So if I double click on second floor, I can go over to my project properties, or my second floor properties. I'm just going to change the name of that, and I'm now going to call that, whoops, do it in capitals, call it roof, and hit yes. Apply. So now, again, all of my second floor, or most of my second floor stuff has gone away except for electrical and framing. We'll deal with that later. But my roof is now changed to that level. Okay, so now what I want to do is go back to my first floor. Nothing's changed here, which is good. But now I'm going to go to my project browser, and I'm going to click on roof. Okay, and you'll notice that when I click on roof, we have kind of this not grade, but kind of subtle underlay of what our building looks like. You'll see that we can't see the doors, we can't see a lot of the elements that we put in there because the visibility or the cut plane of our view is kind of subtle. Okay, and that's just to give us an idea of where we need our roof. So we're not drawing a roof, outside of the building boundary or just drawing it on the inside. We can actually see our building to give us a fighting chance of actually drawing our roof. All right, so now to create a roof, I'm going to go back to architecture. Oh, but I'm still in modify levels. Let me get out of there. We go. So architecture, and then I'm going to go over to roof. Okay, and again, there's different ways to do roofs, and if I pull back, I can do roof by footprint, roof by excursion. I'm going to have a whole nother video of specifically how to do all different types of roofs, just because there are many, many different roof styles out there. But for now, we're going to keep it to the simplest type of roof, and we're going to go a roof by footprint. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. And it gives me the option of an overhang, meaning how far do I want the overhang of my roof to be. And let's just make it kind of extreme. We're going to go with a 2-foot overhang. And just the same way that we defined where our floors are going to be by drawing boxes around it or tracing lines, we're going to do the same thing with our roof. So up here, since we have a nice rectangle house or square house to this example, I'm going to click on my rectangle tool, and I'm going to click on the top left side of my house and click on the bottom right. And we have that nice magenta area closed in, and I'm going to hit the check mark. All right, and now we have a roof. So if I go to my 3D view, you'll see that now I have a hip roof. All right, now let's say that I don't want this kind of roof. I want like gable ends, meaning flat ends on my east and west sides. Well, let's learn how to modify our roofs. So if I go to my roof and I click on my roof now, I'm going to double click on it. You notice that we have these little slope markings here. Okay, and that indicates that this side of the roof, or this face of the roof, is going to have a slope on it. Now, I don't want this side, the east and west side, to have a slope. I want it to be flat. I want it to be a gable end roof. So to change that, I'm just going to select on this one side of my roof, where it says define slope. I'm going to turn that off. Right, so now you'll see that I don't have that slope marker anymore. Now I'm going to do the same thing for my east side roof. Define slope, uncheck that, go back to my green check mark, and let's check our 3D view, and now we have a gable end. All right, but one thing you'll notice as well here is we don't have this wall connected to the roof, and I'll show you how to fix that in a second. But what I want is I don't want this roof to be this steep. This is probably like I don't know, maybe a 9/12 pitch. I want something a little more shallow. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my roof, and I want to change that slope. So I'm going to click on my roof again. Excuse me, I'm going to double click on my roof. And I'm going to click on the side of the slope or roof that I want to change. And you'll see here that next to my slope indicator, I have my slope dimension, so a 9/12 pitch, right? So for every 9 inches of horizontal, I go, for every 12 inches of horizontal, I go 9 inches vertical. All right, so let's say I want to change that to something a little more shallow, like a 4/12 pitch. So I'm going to take this 9, and I'm going to make that a 4. And then I'm going to come to my other pitch, do the same thing. Make that a 4/12 pitch. Hit my green check mark to accept my changes. Go back to my 3D view, and now we have more of a shallow slope on our roof. Okay, so now obviously we have a fundamental problem with a weather-tight building is that it's not weather-tight. If we look right through, we can see right through our building because our walls are not connected to the top of our roof. And there's a very easy way to fix that. First, what I want to do is I want to select on the wall that's not touching my roof. And I want to come up here to where it says Modify Wall and click on Attach to Top Base. All right, so I'm going to click on that feature. Then I'm going to click on my roof, and it's going to finish up that gable end. Now on the other side, we're going to have the same problem, so I'm going to rotate around. I'm going to click on my wall, go Attach to Top Base, and click on my roof. There we go. So now we are all weather tight.